Assalamu alaikum, shalom, namaste, what's poppin', what's crackin', what's stacking, what's happening. Welcome to Rolling Ratchet. I'm your host, Nizzy Nice, and today we are talking about the trial of Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Back in 2020, Kylie Jenner had a pool party at her house. Megan and her then best friend Kelsey and Tory Lanez all attended. So let's talk about how we went from this.
We had to come kill the streets for 5 minutes. So what? Okay. Tori, don't get my phone wet.
To this.
All right, you heard the bombshell from this morning. Let me catch you up on the rest of Kelsey's testimony. They asked her, how are you feeling? She said, I don't want to be here. They asked her, what's triggering you? She said, quote, lies from Megan. She was asked, what lies? That I betrayed her, that I am a bad friend, that I took hush money. She was asked, how do you feel about the allegation that you shot Megan? She said, that's ridiculous. She was asked, how did you meet Tory Lanez? Me and Meg both met him at the same time at a Rock Nation brunch. She continued that after they met, Meg wanted to hook Tory up with Kelsey, that did happen, that Kelsey and Tory were engaged in an intimate relationship, that Kelsey got COVID, went back to Texas, and during the time she was back at Texas, having left LA, Tory and Meg started getting it on. They talked about the night of the incident. They got to Kylie Jenner's house around 3 to 4 p.m. She was a great witness, by the way. She answered everything extremely knowledgeably, extremely truthfully. I believe every word she said. She never seemed like she was trying to hide something, except when she pled the fifth, of course. Now, she's clarified, this is not a party. Those are just people hanging out. There was maybe 5 or 6 people before Tory got there. There was a lot of alcohol. She said at one point she did pass out. When she woke up, Tory was there. They were all in the pool. They were having fun. She confirmed a lot of the speculation. Tory was hooking up or trying to hook up, flirting with Kylie in the pool. Meg was very agitated, trying to leave with Tory. Tory did not want to leave. She contradicted Meg's testimony. Meg said, I don't remember ever leaving once and then coming back. Kelsey testified they all got in the car. They left without Tory. As they were going, Meg is rambling, being just weird, and then says, I forgot my slipper. Let's go back. They all go back to get her slipper. Then they grab Tory. Kelsey didn't go in at that point when they went back. But when they came out, Meg came out with Tory, and Meg said to Kelsey, bitch, Kylie told us it's time for us to go. Tory drops the bombshell that he had been hooking up with Meg. Kelsey did not know this. The first time she learned this is in that car. That's when the argument ensues. That's when just lots of arguing is going back and forth. The prosecutor really tried to pin it down and make it look like the argument was only between Tory and Meg, and Kelsey was adamant that everybody was arguing with each other. It was a mess. She confirmed that Meg was dissing Tory's career, his skills as an artist. This stuff all crescendoed. The prosecutors asked her about, was there ever a threat made by Tory to shoot? She said yes. Prosecutor asked her, what's the context? She said, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. You can only invoke your fifth if the testimony that you are compelled to give will incriminate you, meaning that the context around the threat, if Meg will not tell us, if Kelsey tells us, it would incriminate her.
Now, in case you're wondering who that was that we just heard from, that's an attorney by the name of Mohammed Gangat, and he has been in the courtroom every day since this trial has started. And you heard what he said Kelsey said when she took the stand, right? Now listen how Kelsey switched the whole story up.
And it gets crazier. We are on a 15-minute break. Got to get back into the courtroom very quickly. I sat at 12 o'clock directly in Kelsey's line of vision. I watched her testify. I watched her deny that Tory threatened to shoot her. I watched her confess that she lied to the police when she said that. The reason why she was lying to the police, the investigators, is because she wanted to protect herself. OMG. The rest of the testimony that we just saw in the after lunch session was a prosecutor holding on for dear life to a recording between her, a police investigator, and another LA County prosecutor, and Kelsey, and just replaying that recording and saying, Kelsey, didn't you say this? And Kelsey saying, I did. Kelsey, is that true? And Kelsey saying, no, I lied. Did the LA County prosecutors give Kelsey immunity? I think so. They did, didn't they? That's what I reported this morning. That's what I saw in this courtroom. Does Kelsey sound like a believable witness? No. Is Tory Lanez accusing her of being the shooter? Yes. I'll tell you something. That jury, most of them, it looked like they had their mind made up. I don't know which way, but they saw that person say that I lied about all that to protect myself. They're going to hear that there was gunshot residue on her.
This Megan and Tori case, man, this joint is a whole movie. We thought the OJ case was wild. I guarantee you, if they'd have put this trial on pay-per-view, it would have made bread. Now the bodyguard missing, right when he was scheduled to testify, but his family never filed the missing persons report, which says to me that he was never missing. He just didn't want to be found. Now they saying he found him and he's supposed to testify. Let's see if that ever happens. Now, I know when some of y'all read the Tyrus video, y'all was like, huh? I thought Tori is the one who shot Meg. Now, before I go into any more details about this case, there's something else I want to touch on that I think is very important. When we hear black women say protect black women, I agree. My mama is black, my aunties is black, and black women are more likely to become victims of sex trafficking than any other race. So yes, we should protect black women. But ladies, and when I say ladies, I'm talking to my sisters, I'm talking to my queens. When you say protect black women, but then you go on another woman's page and leave her the most hateful comments, are you still protecting black women? Because I've noticed that if a man says anything crazy about a black woman on social media, it's protect black women. But then black women can drag each other all day and no one says nothing about that. I just wanted to point out that double standard and hypocrisy. Now, I bring that up because after this incident happened between Tori and Meg, I feel like it caused some type of divide between some black men and black women. Because after this incident happened, Tori got canceled, and he got canceled in the name of protecting black women. Now, if you believe that Tori shot Megan, you're entitled to believe that. And I know none of us was not there, and I know people do stupid things every day, especially when drugs and alcohol are involved. But let me ask you this. When is the last time, if ever, have you heard of a successful artist shooting someone when their life wasn't in danger? I'll wait. Let me repeat that question. When have you ever heard of a successful artist shooting someone when their life wasn't in danger? That's why from day one, I never thought Tori shot Meg. Now, that's just my opinion, but let's go over some of the facts. Right after the incident happened, when Megan said she was shot by Tori, her best friend at the time, her BFF, Kelsey, unfollowed her on social media. To me, that was the first red flag. Ladies, if your best friend gets shot, your bestie, they get shot, wouldn't she need you more than ever after going through a traumatic experience like that? What would cause a best friend to unfollow another best friend after going through something like that? Now, there have been reports that on the night of the shooting is when Kelsey found out that Megan was messing with Tori behind Kelsey's back. And to add insult to injury, they're saying that Megan is the one who hooked Tori up with Kelsey. There's also been reports that Megan and Tori have been on vacations together, which is crazy to me because I'm like, how y'all find time to do all this behind Kelsey's back, which is her BFF at the time? Now, I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm most definitely a Jay-Z fan. And Jay-Z is Rock Nation. And Rock Nation hand is strong. And who is Megan signed to? Yes, Rock Nation. Now, my reason for bringing all this up is because since this incident happened, Megan has been treated way different from Tori. So first, let's talk about the gag order. And for anyone who doesn't know what a gag order is, fellas, it's not what you think. Get your mind out the gutter. By definition, a gag order is a judge's order where you cannot discuss the case in public. So why was Tori given a gag order about the case, but Megan was allowed to do a whole interview with Gayle King?
What was the nature of your relationship with Tory Lanez? Because he has led people to believe that it was a sexual relationship, that it was that you two were dating. What was the nature?
We were not dating. We were really close. We were friends. We hung out like every day. And his mom passed too. So when I felt like we were bonding over that. And
did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
So why do you think he's putting out the story that the two of you had a relationship and that you're making the whole thing up?
I think that he is trying to deflect from the fact that he committed a crime.
was an argument in the car?
It was an argument because I was ready to go and everybody else wasn't ready to go. But that's like normal friend stuff. Like, we fuss about silly stuff all the time. But I never put my hands on anybody. I never raised my voice too loud. Like, this was one of them times where it was like, it shouldn't have got this crazy.
It shouldn't have escalated to the way that it did.
So I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast. And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, "Dance, bitch." And he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, he shot a couple of times. And I was so scared.
So is he in the car shooting from the car, Megan?
He is standing up over the window shooting. And I didn't even want to move. I didn't want to move too quick.
All right, that's enough of that. But you see what I mean about the double standard, right? Now, after Megan did that interview with Gail, I'm pretty sure Tori seen that like, damn, Shorty doing an interview on national TV throwing dirt on me. Like, I gotta say something or she gonna control the narrative. So what did Tori do? He didn't do an interview. All he did was send a tweet. Not an interview. He just sent a tweet. And you know what happened after he sent that tweet? He went to jail. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, since this case has been going on, there has been an eyewitness. And the shooting, the fighting, everything that took place, it happened within 15 feet of this man's house, right? His name is Sean Kelly. And he took a stand. He gave his testimony. We're going to check back in with the lawyer, Muhammad Gannat, to hear what he said about it.
Better than TV. Hollywood writers can't make this stuff up. Wait until you hear what the eyewitness testimony was this morning at the Tory Lanez. They asked Mr. Kelly, "Do you know why you're here?" He said, "Absolutely." The defense attorney put up a picture of the back of his home. You could see a driveway. They had him draw a square where the SUV was parked. It was right on the curb of the back of his house, 10, 15 feet. His window is overlooking it. He stepped out onto his Juliet balcony and he watched for several minutes as Meg the Stallion and Kelsey, the two females, he didn't identify them by name, got out of the car and they were engaged in a fight. It was violent. It was quite aggressive. It started with arguing that woke him up in the middle of the night. Where his house is, often him and his son are woken up in the middle of the night by people who stop in and around the back of his home. This was another night, arguing, escalation, two women fighting. He watched the whole thing while standing on his balcony. Oh my God, it gets crazier. As he looked down on a fight that he described as quite violent, he then saw the larger gentleman, this is presumably the security guard Quan, come and violently try to separate them. Eventually, all four were involved in what he called an aggressive, everyone fighting, essentially just a melee, a free-for-all between four people in the middle of the night, right outside of his back window. He said at one point he saw one woman go back towards into the car. At that point, he saw a muzzle flash. Then he said there was a man, and after the first few shots from the woman came off, he saw the man getting involved with the woman and more shots went off. On cross-examination, the prosecutor asked him, "Did you see the man shoot?" He said, "Yes, I saw the shorter man with a gun shooting violently in the air at least 5 times. Okay, wait, what? That's not what you just testified. Then the defense attorney went back and asked him, "I thought you said you saw the woman and then you saw the man shoot." And he's like, "Yeah, you have to understand, it was just a crazy free-for-all and it all happened very quickly." And then he said the most shocking thing that has come out in this case, which is that after the shots went off, one woman crawled further away, that the 3 people then went over there and beat her violently while she was on the ground. They picked her up. They looked like they were going to drag her and throw her into the river. Instead, they dragged her across the street, put her in the car, and drove off. The prosecution, we're on lunch, the prosecution is going to come back, and basically they're trying to build the case that this witness is lying because he's intimidated by the defense, that he never said anything about the muzzle flash going off near Kelsey, and now he's saying all this because he's scared of telling the truth. We'll see how that comes out on direct. Here's a fact, though. He has been consistent about a couple things. One, the 2 women were outside that car fighting for several minutes. escalated, started with an argument, then it got quite violent, and the security guard came out to try to separate them. The idea that the jury would credit Meg's testimony, which is just completely contradicted by this eyewitness, is highly unlikely. The prosecution has major work to do to save their case, which is absolutely on life support right now.
Now, you heard what the eyewitness testified, right? The eyewitness testified that he's seen two females fighting. He then said one of those females went to the truck, got something out, and then he seen the flash. Could that possibly be Kelsey shooting at Megan? Now, two parts of his testimony that I'm a little confused about is when he talks about he's seen Tori shooting about 5 times in the air. They already tested the gun and the clip for Tori's DNA, and Tori's DNA was not on the gun or the clip. So I don't know if the eyewitness got confused about that part or not. Another part of the story I think he has confused is when he's talking about he's seen 3 people beating on Megan. That means that would have been Kelsey, Tori, and a big-ass bodyguard beating on Megan. I think Megan would have had some serious injuries to her body and face if that happened. Now I want to talk about this lawyer, Muhammad Gannat, that's been reporting. This lawyer, he has no bias. He has no dog in the fight. He's totally neutral. So I want you to listen to him when he talks about how the prosecution is doing their best to do Tori dirty. Like, they know they have no case, but they are still looking for things to try to send Tori to jail.
Kelly finished testifying, and then I saw something that we should all be embarrassed about as Americans in court. And if I'm wrong, there was a lot of people in that courtroom. Kelly testified. The prosecutor got him to say, hey, look, I saw the guy, the short guy, with his arms in the air and the gun going off. And it went off about 5 times. And then the defense went up there and said, hey, did you see, before that, did you see the woman going towards back into the car? And did you see the muzzle flash go off with her? He said yes. And was there a struggle and everybody was fighting? And he said yes. Then I saw the prosecutors asked the judge that if Tory Lanez takes the stand and testify, we want to talk about his rap lyrics. We want to talk about the tattoos of his guns. We want to talk about how he was arrested in 2019 for something and he was arrested in 2020 for something. We want to talk about he's recently been arrested for August Alsina. The prosecutors, the people of the state of California, that's who they represent. That's the name. It's the people versus Daystar Peterson. The people, they don't really want to talk about the case anymore. They don't really want to talk about what happened on that evening with these 4 people and that escalate. No, now they want to put the man on trial. They want to talk about everything Tory Lanez has ever said and everything that Tory Lanez has ever did. Because if they can't get you the fair way, the right way, they'll get you any way they can. That's what I saw in the courtroom. Tell me I'm lying.
See what I mean? I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to do this. Now, ladies, let me ask you this. If you was in that courtroom and sitting on that jury, can you honestly say without a reasonable doubt that you think Tori shot Meg? I'm not a lawyer, but if I was, I would say I rest my case. Hey, I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's your host, Nizzy Nice, signing off, and we rolling ratchet.